In the game of golf, the need for speed is real. So we're going to talk today a little bit about concepts of helping you get more speed. The first concept that people always migrate to is rotating their body faster, which is elementally important for hitting the golf ball farther. But before we focus on rotating the body faster, we need to understand some of the elements of what makes a body rotate faster. So we have a saying in our business saying that force precedes motion. Force precedes motion, which simply put means before you see something moving, there was a force that was applied to the ground or the club that made it happen. In order to achieve more rotary speed with our body, we have to use our feet better. So these are the concepts we're going to talk about to obtain more speed. The first concept is lateral. All right, so we're going to talk about having more force production in the left and right quadrants. By doing this, we're going to be able to get our translation of energy moving toward the target, which is then going to set the stage for more body rotation. Put those two together, you have a winning combo for speed production. To further get into this concept of developing speed, I'm going to introduce Kayleigh Franklin, a renowned fitness instructor in the game of golf. Kayleigh's going to come on and we're going to talk about some of the concepts or parts of the body that we need to look at. Kayleigh, welcome.
Thank you, Lance.
All right, so remember, in order to produce speed, we can't just have rotation. Kayleigh's from England. Now, England, their number one sport is baseball. So in order for a baseball pitcher to throw fast, you don't see them just rotate. So a baseball pitcher just rotating and throwing a pitch probably won't strike people out. What we see is a lateral motion toward the target, which in this case is home plate. Lateral, once the foot hits, there's vertical, and then both of those produce the rotary torque. All right, so that rotation occurs almost last. That's kind of what we're going to look at today. So from what we see with our athletes that you train, what is one part of the body that we can utilize or train to help set that lateral motion up?
I would say the feet, Lance, the interaction of the feet with the ground.
All right, now with the feet in the ground, so what Kayleigh's talking about is the foot and the ground are theoretically the only two things that come in contact with each other in the golf swing. If your hand or your elbow or your torso is, you've fallen over and we have a problem. All right, so the feet interacting with the ground. What is the one motion that the foot probably doesn't know how to do in most cases?
Moving towards that inside part.
So moving to the inside of we'll say the trail
foot if you're a right-hander.
is going to allow us to have more lateral or frontal plane torque for you experts out there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then from there, if we can master that, you're saying we'll be able to develop more of the rotational or disassociation, which is the rotary capabilities.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about some drills that we can do to help increase that lateral force production, which is going to turn into rotary force production. So what are some drills that we can do simply in the confines of our own home or our studios or our gyms to help us increase that lateral force?
I like to use skaters, which is simply jumping from one foot to the other in that side-to-side motion.
Okay, so skaters is going to be something that's very simply done to help produce that lateral force production. And when it comes down to it, the only two things that are going to touch the ground are her feet. Kayleigh, why don't you show us what skaters look like? You can see here we're just going side to side. She likes to get the hands chopping. But this motion is very important to teach you how to use the ground, push off to create the lateral motion. Notice there's not a lot of rotation occurring here. All right, Kayleigh, what are some common mistakes that people make during the skater drill?
Going a little bit too slow, hanging out a little bit too long on that trail side. So for optimum side-to-side motion, you want to rebound as quick as you can off of your trail side, get to that lee side. That's where you can hang out a little bit longer.
All right, so for those that are wondering what trail and lead means, if you're right-handed, your trail side is your right foot. Your lead side is the foot closest to the target, just for clarity's sake. All right, now you notice we didn't have any rotation in that drill. Is there a way to produce more rotation or kick it up a notch, as they say?
We could do 90-degree jumps. We could do 180-degree jumps.
She's getting crazy. Why don't you show us what they are? All right, so 90-degree jumps.
Loading, landing 90 degrees. Loading, landing 90 degrees. 180, loading, landing 180 degrees. So I'm loading into my trail side, spinning it round.
Now go back to the skaters for a second and show us a couple moves of the skaters, just the same move you were making. You'll notice Kayleigh's load phase in the skaters is very similar. Now show us the 90-degree jumps. She's loading with the torso as a backswing while her lower body and her foot are interacting with the ground, starting the force production before the torso even finishes the backswing. So we've taken it from just teaching you how to load and go straight sideways to load sideways and add the rotation into it, which becomes more of an athletic event. So this is something that we can do as a progression from lateral force production into rotary force production. And to be honest, there's a vertical component in there that's hidden, and that's a benefit as well. Are there any pitfalls or strategies that we have to be cautious of when doing this?
Making sure you have enough space around you so you're not going to hit anything or fall over would be a big one.
Now, the other thing that you do not have to go 180 or 360, or as some of our snowboarders do who convert over to golf, 720. So we start with a very small window to create that rotation. The other thing is we don't need to jump super high. With some of our athletes, we're trying to get as much vertical as we can. Let's start in a place that creates success for you. What are some side benefits from these exercises that will have carryover into other areas of life?
Just the simple fact that you can use your feet better with the ground, balance comes into everyday life.
All right, Kayleigh, so you just showed us skaters, which is more of the lateral force. And then you blended that into the 90-degree turns, and if you're getting real confident, 180-degree turns. All right, so one thing that we should mention is that research shows if you're a right-handed golfer, you're going to try to produce everything going to your left. Rotation to the left, translation laterally to the left, but the research shows that if you also go the opposite direction, you're going to have a higher effect. So yes, you're going to have to practice left-handed a little bit. It's going to feel awkward at first, but the carryover effect will be awesome for you.
100%.
Is there anything else that we want to leave our happy exercise fanatics with that they should know about these exercises?
I would just say reps for the jumps. We kind of want you, even if you're just doing light ones, to try and give it your all. So maybe between 5 to 8 reps for the jumps. Skaters could probably be about between 10 to 15 reps, but you want to make sure that you're landing properly so we're not falling over, we're not falling to the outside of that foot. So keep the reps low to keep your form better.
So in order to create speed, we're going to focus on the lateral motions first, using what Kayleigh said is the foot interaction with the ground to produce those lateral movements, which is then in turn going to manifest itself in better rotary capabilities. Remember our example with the baseball player. We don't want to be the baseball player that just rotates their body. And that's what golfers tend to focus on a lot, is getting better rotation. And don't get me wrong, I love the fact that we're trying to get better rotation. But if we then use the ground to help us with that quest, you're going to get better results. Keep in mind always, force precedes motion. That means force comes before motion. If we can get our feet and the ground interacting better, the intended motion will show itself to a higher degree.